Okay guys, so I'm back with another Bad Games Avoid, and this one is of hardcore 4x4. Now you'd probably think this is a really decent game for the Sega Saturn, but it's, unfortunately it's another one of those racing games that just ain't that great, to be honest with you. The Sega Saturn, I mean, for racing games, it's really patchy road. You've got a few great games, and then the rest of the games are just really naff. I don't know what it is about the Saturn. It's just flooded with really bad racing games, and unfortunately this is one of them. So as you can see from the menus, it does actually look like a pretty decent game. The graphics look alright and everything, and there's quite a lot of options here as well. A lot of the really decent games on the racing games for the Saturn don't have as many options as this game does. For a perfect example, Sega Rally Championship doesn't have all these options. The game's actually quite small and limited in what you can do on there and the options that you got, whereas this game, being a really bad game, actually has quite a lot of options. As you can see, you can change. You've got a number of tracks you can choose from. You can change your car. And all the cars got different stats. You can choose the weather detail and all the different game types like time trial and single races and championship and all that lot. So it's really detailed in the options, and it's quite impressive in that. But the actual gameplay and stuff really isn't that fun. Unfortunately, it's one of those racing games that is for the Sega Saturn. It's just rubbish, to be honest with you. Really unfortunate, because I actually thought this was going to be a good game when I bought it, and yeah, when I played it, I really wasn't that impressed. I really should have expected as much for the Saturn, because it really hasn't got. It really doesn't do too well with the racing games. So as you can see, one thing I will say about this game is the backgrounds. Now on this level in particular as well, the background detail is really nice. You can see the different canyons in the background, and it just looks really nice and detailed in that way. But the foreground and the actual map and the track that you're racing around, I gotta say, the graphics are just really choppy and horrible, and they could have put a lot more detail into the track itself and the foreground and everything, because it just looks pretty horrible. It's not the worst graphics I've seen on the Saturn, but they could have done a hell of a lot better than this. Yeah, so unfortunately, really not a great game, this one. And the thing that you might be wondering, well, it don't look too bad, but really the gameplay is what counts, in my opinion, and it really isn't that much fun to play. As you can see, your 4x4 is just all over the place. I think the developers probably thought, hey, this is a really great idea. We'll put all these bum holes and bumps and stuff in the road that you're going to race around, and have your 4x4 just thrown all over the place, and it'll be really fun. But to be honest, it's a really naff idea. All you want to do is you want to race around a dirt track and slide all over the place and knock into other 4x4s. But instead, what you get with this game is you get a track that's covered in bumps and hills and bum holes and stuff, and you're going over it, and your 4x4 is just getting thrown all over the bloody place, and it just ain't that much fun. So instead of racing against the cars, trying to get to the finish line and skidding around corners like you want to do on an off-road game, instead you're fighting against the track. You're just trying to keep your 4x4 going where it's supposed to go, and yeah, it's just not fun. You just, like I said, fighting against the track, and it's just so rubbish. It's just unreal. It's not a fun game to play at all. It's just a stupid idea. I cannot believe the developers thought it was a good idea to do that. On this next track, I've actually put the weather detail to stormy, and I've put it on a different map, and it's a war zone map, and it really is terrible. I should have put it onto a different track to see what the stormy weather detail was on there. But yeah, this track was really bad. I could not see the track where I was meant to go. Plus, I was fighting against the track, and it was bouncing me around so much that it kept spinning me around, so I was going the wrong way. And just absolutely terrible. It's so frustrating. I think that's the biggest thing on this. It's so frustrating and so annoying. They could have done it so much better, but alas, you know. And that brings me to another point. Actually, the actual handling of the 4x4 and the controls are actually really damn good in this game. There's a lot of games on the racing games for the Sega Saturn that I've come across, and the biggest thing that makes them so bad is just the controls and the handling of the vehicles are just so bad that, you know, that's just the number one issue of many of the racing games. But on this game, it's bad for other reasons. The controls for the 4x4 are spot on. I mean, the handling of the 4x4s is absolutely brilliant. I cannot stress that enough. Really responsive. Just does what you want it to do, and you just feel like if they just put a normal dirt track in there where you're just skidding around corners and all that, it would just be absolutely brilliant. But alas, they didn't do it. So my advice is, if you see this game, avoid it.